Hi, this is Living Raw Radio, and my name is Geeta Sidhu-Robb. And today's show, like all of our shows, are ordinary people doing extraordinary things and have I love when you have people, and I particularly am partial to women, who take a normal, ordinary life and make an incredible something out of them. And today's guest is somebody who I'm honored to call my friend and is a colleague within the food business, and it is the amazing Ching Huang. Did I pronounce that right, Ching?
Yes, that's fantastic.
Because I'm always calling
Hi.
you Ching, so I don't know about your surname part of that process.
No, you've got it right. You've got a good Mandarin accent.
Hoorays, because that's what I didn't know I had. Now, the thing is, Ching, that what I find really, really interesting about you is that you have had two extremely successful careers. Because although you're in food and have always more or less been in food, but you came at food from two different ways, didn't you? Talk to me about where you started from. So you didn't grow up in Britain in the first place. You grew up in Taiwan.
Yes. So I was born in Taiwan, Taipei, and then emigrated to South Africa. My grandparents are farmers on both sides. And, you know, we went from one farm to another in South Africa.
Yeah, all good people grow up on farms. This is my theory.
Yeah, I think so. And then we emigrated again to the UK when I was 11. And so I turned to cooking. I had to cook for my father growing up as a teen in London. Because actually my father had a successful business in South Africa, but then lost everything when he came to London in 1990 because of the recession. And then I had to cook for him. My mother went away to work a lot, and that's how I learned my own culture, Chinese cooking. And
amazing.
I started my own food business when I was 21 from nothing.
Wow. Ching, yeah. That's so young.
I was too young. I didn't know what I was doing.
What was that business?
So it was called Fuji, and we started from a small kitchen in North London with £500, labels from Core Quick, ingredients from Wing Yip.
Yes, I went to Wing Yip when I started too.
I'm a Wing Yip fan. I love it. I love it. I love Wing Yip. So it was really tough, you know, humble beginnings, and just a small kitchen in North London.
And what were you doing? And
I was making ready-to-eat sort of meals, high-risk meals. When we say high-risk, I mean like with a 2-day or 3-day shelf life, fresh every day. We would supply them to stores, independents in London. And this all came about because I was still a student at university, Queen Mary, and at that time, you know, you had the likes of Pret and Benji's, and they were opening. Yeah. And sushi was all the rave, and I spent like £3.50 on a small box of noodles in Pret in Marble Arch, and I felt completely ripped off. I felt violated as a Chinese.
Yes. Not only did they not taste good, but imagine the markup on that.
Oh my goodness, it was just noodles, bean sprouts, sesame seeds, and a packet of soy sauce, and it was the most. And they called it noodle salad.
No.
No, I thought in Taiwan we have the best noodle salad. You know, with sliced omelette, with a cucumber, carrots, the most delicious peanut, soy, spicy sauce, chewiest, yummy noodles, al dente noodles. Anyway, I thought I could do better, naively. And also by that time I was broke, because after years and years of, you know, parents failing at their business, and then I almost left school at 16. Luckily, a headmistress saw me working illegally in Next when I was underage, 15. She gave me a scholarship, you know, 5% scholarship.
Oh, Ching, that's so lovely. What a great story.
Anyway, I'm the product of her inspiration and her kindness and generosity. So, anyway, cut a long story short, it was traumatic.
Ching, sorry, you and I have been friends for a long time, and I have never known that about you. That is relentless, and it's so interesting how it proves my theory, because you are so upbeat that I think that people that have gone down the furthest really try and stay up high the most, because you always look for the good and the happy in where you are right now.
Well, it's, you know, kind of you to say that. It was hell. I don't know. I'm sorry. That was my email inbox.
Don't worry.
You know, I think if you, yeah, if you go down deep, really deep, like you said, if you've experienced hardship, I think you only have a choice is to, you know, try and raise yourself up because no one else is going to.
No, they're not. They won't do it for you. It's got to come from inside you. That's unbelievable. I just had no idea you had to do that. Good for you. So you set up this business with your major amounts of £500.
It was really, yes. We made every penny count.
Oh yeah, tell me all about it.
Penny counts, yep. So it was cool.
How did you used to deliver the food?
Okay, so this was, okay, it was 3 months free rent, first of all, that I negotiated with the landlady.
Yeah.
She had an office building and a kitchen, and I was actually doing the sandwiches and jacket potatoes on a trolley. I was a dinner lady for them. And
you were making them?
I was making them. And then she was like, okay, I said to her, look, you have this kitchen, a big kitchen space. Let me take it over. Give me 3 months rent and I'll try and make my business work. And if it does, then I'll take it over. And so she said, fantastic. So it was a lot of pieces of the puzzle. I went to Europa Foods. I got my first contract. An amazing, beautiful soul called Tim Marland gave me the opportunity. He was young. He was a buyer. He thought I was crazy because I just turned up in his office with this packet of noodles.
Amazing. Going, eat this. You'll love it. Eat it. You'll love it.
I know. And he loved it. He did love it. He loved it so much. But I was also so desperate for a contract. I think he felt sorry for me. And he knew.
No, I'm sure he just loved your bloody food. I'm sure that's what it was. He just tried it and went, oh my God, give me more.
Thank you. Yes, Geeta, I'm not selling it very well. Yes, it was the food. It was the noodles. But he was extraordinary. He gave me a whole list and I hadn't even finished my degree yet. This was the last 3 months.
What was your degree in?
Economics.
Okay.
Everyone was going to the city. Everyone was becoming an accountant or in finance. And I had to do something, you know, quick. And because it was really desperate and times we were about to lose our house. So it was really.
Oh no. So he gave you a list of stuff.
He gave me a list of things. I needed, you know, a distributor. I needed a kitchen. I needed health and safety certificates.
Wow.
Pricing.
You're like, what is this?
I'm like, oh my God, straight in the deep end. Didn't know what I was doing. And then one by one, just ticked off the list. And the last piece of the puzzle, would you believe? So I got my premises. I knew where I was going to buy the noodles from. I knew where I was going to get the packaging. Around the corner from the kitchen is the local EHO office. I begged the EHO officer to write me the whole HACCP system because, as you know, being in food,
did he write it for you?
And he planned it all for me.
Oh, amazing!
I went to the local job centre and applied for part-time staff, and then two came on board. I remember Kelly, the manager, and I think Ian. You know, poor Ian. I think he was like 18 years old, a student, and wanting part-time work. I got a fax machine, and then the last piece of the puzzle in all of this was the distributor. I did not have vans, chilled vans to get these meals.
Yeah, and they're expensive.
And so I go back to Tim and he's like, okay, what's the pricing? Fantastic. You've ticked all the boxes. And he said, go and see this gentleman. He goes, how are you going to distribute to the stores? I said, I don't know because I don't have vans. And he goes, go and see this gentleman. He's, you know, he gave me, you know, his address. And I, as I left the meeting, I thought to myself, there is no way, anyway, that this would work because I would still need to have a chilled van to get it to the distributor. And I have no money. I have no money for that. At this point, it was still a theory. And as I left, I looked down at the address because by this point, I'd phased over. 3 months of work had gone into it.
Yeah.
And the postcode was NW9. And where the kitchen was NW9.
No, Ching, it was best.
I swear to God, I was like, oh my goodness. And they were literally, Geeta, 1 minute down the road.
No.
1 minute. So what happened was they came to collect.
From you. Yes.
Without that,
Oh, I have
oh my
goosebumps.
God, that would never have happened.
Oh.
So I'm the product of many people's kindness and inspiration.
Absolutely. But alongside your absolute determination to make it work. For a lot of people would have got that list and thought, shoot me now. I'm never going to manage this. And that's what I'm saying. That's the whole premise of this show. It's always ordinary people doing extraordinary things, Ching. If somebody had looked at you from the outside and you were a 21-year-old about to lose your house, you would have thought, what can I do? Right? But you didn't. You were like, here's what we're going to do. And then you did it. So then what happened?
So, listen, it wasn't all rosy. First 3 months was
brutal.
I had everything in place. The orders came in by fax. We would get them by 12 and then we'd have to make everything through till midnight, and then they would be collected and then delivered in store the next day.
Have you now finished university?
And by this point I had finished university.
Okay,
so I started in April 1999. By July 1999, we were up and running. Our first orders had come in, and the orders were amazing. I mean, Europa Foods had like 20 or more. They had 100 stores actually in London at that time. Now Tesco have bought them and they're no longer. But it was Cullen's, it was Europa Foods, and they were a big chain.
Huge.
We started 20 stores. Each store, ordered like 400 in total, 500 boxes a day. Like, it was amazing. And we were making these products.
You were making like 6,000 meals a day.
Oh, no, it wasn't 6,000. Sorry. It was like 20, 30 per day. And then it was about 600, 500, and then 2,000 meals a day. And that was a lot to be made by hand. Everything
huge
by hand, Anyway, it was so good. And then literally 3 weeks later, the orders started dwindling. And then Tim calls me and says, Ching, you need to come to the office. We need to discuss. And I thought,
no.
Oh my God, what now? And then basically it was, look, can we do sell return now? Because the products are not selling. We've given it a good try. And, it was basically like a lunchbox, noodles, and then different compartments, and then the sachets of the dressing.
Yeah.
Pack in black. And I thought, gosh, I'm going to have to go to store and see why people aren't buying. So I literally had to go into the stores, stand there at lunchtime, see people pick it up, put it down. And as soon as they put it down, I had to rush over and say, excuse me, sir, madam, what made you put that product back down?
Oh, clever.
It looks interesting. Cool noodle looks interesting, but it looks like I have to do a stir fry with it. It doesn't look like it's ready to eat.
Oh.
And then some stores would shelve it, would merchandise it at eye level, where you just saw the black base and you didn't see what was inside.
What was inside?
Straight past. And so I had to go back to square one. And if you know about listing a product in store, you have to start from the very beginning again, and you have to develop the recipe.
Oh, it's so painful.
Develop the cost. It was so painful, but by month 6, I almost lost the business completely. It was that quick.
Yeah, because it's so fast.
Fail. And, in the end, I had to source, clear packaging in the bowl shape, and then put it on the bottom and layer it so it looked like a salad. I had to tell them how to merchandise it. I was still doing sale return. It was killing my business. Sales were going slowly up and up, but then I realized I had to go and find more clients. And then so the next client was Benji's, and they were ready to eat. They paid everything in cash, which is amazing.
Oh, hooray.
They ordered, each store was hundreds of units. And that was my backup, because retail was just too difficult, and I kept asking for sale return. But anyway,
and they do, and then they take 3 months to pay. I remember this. I did retail.
Oh gosh, it was so painful. Anyway, slowly, after month 6, after the massive hiccup, we managed to climb until so that was 1999 until 2004. We got the premises, our own unit, our own factory unit. We were doing, meals, Dexo, coming through, the likes of Crush, Pret even, Itsu, all
Imagine the irony of going into Pret.
I know. It was so funny. But they were great. And we supplied them with, we didn't supply them with full meals because obviously they make everything in house. But what we did was we sent them bags of noodles, and it was so funny, 3mm mange two slices because they had to be perfect for them.
So Ching, you never lost your house though. Could you afford to pay for it then?
We ended up paying for it. We ended up keeping it.
You ended up paying for it. You ended up keeping it.
When I say we, my parents were involved with me.
Okay.
In business, but yes, I mean, I felt like I was very much the caretaker for my parents because they didn't really understand. I mean,
no.
they're great and they have this entrepreneurial drive, but when you come from UK is a very different place to do business.
It is, especially from South Africa, or I mean, I come from a part of Africa, so it's very different.
Very different. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of, jargon. There's a lot of contracts. And for my parents, and no disrespect to them, but from a different generation.
Oh, it's very different.
And different culture of doing business in China and even in South Africa, where everything by word and on a shake of a hand, it's much easier. But here for them, it was, it was traumatic. It was not a good experience. And I was the only one that could
do anything. So you did it. Unbelievable. I'm so proud of you, Ching. So then you decided that you were going to go on TV.
It was by luck, by chance.
Cookbooks. Tell me about cookbooks, because I want to bring us to the place where you have just brought out your 9th cookbook. And I mean, to me, it's unbelievable that you start in that place and you are now in your 9th cookbook. You're permanently on Saturday Kitchen and on TV. You had a long stint in LA on TV as well. And before you sort of came back home. Home because like I live here, so this is home. And you just have remade yourself from those beginnings. And how did you talk to me about the cookbooks, and then I want to talk about Walk On, which is your 9th cookbook.
Thank you. So it was, so I had 10 years of Fuji, but 3 years into Fuji, my food business, I met my husband now, Jamie.
Yeah.
It was at UK Food, and she, it was again her generous spirit and saying, Ching, your noodles are delicious. You should go on TV. You should share it with the world.
Whose generous spirit was this?
This was Fiona, my now sister-in-law, who is amazing. And, we struck a deal. I said, I'll pay you. You could be my press manager, even though I didn't know what press meant. And she was trying to save for a house deposit. And so she introduced me to the commissioners at UK Food.
Amazing.
And I was there with it, picnic of foods. And they said, oh, this is all fantastic, but can you cook on TV? I said, to be honest, I don't know if I can cook on TV. But
let's find out.
I'm PR My Noodles. In the end, I had to go for an audition, like a test, a screen test. And I was thinking in my back of my mind, this is all fantastic. And it's fantastic they love Chinese food. But when am I going to get to PR My Noodles? When am I going to
That's what I'm here.
That's what I'm here for. And anyway, I ended up cooking on screen. And then it was successful. They liked it. They enjoyed it. And they said, just keep coming back. And I was thinking, when can I PR My Noodles? Like, no, you can't. You don't talk about your business on TV.
You're like, so what am I making money from here? This is what I'm trying to do.
But you are very good at cooking Chinese food for us. And we love that about you. And so in the end, I ended up doing Fuji My Food business with a crossover of going on TV, not knowing where it would lead. But it was my creative outlet and my passion for food. I was free to express that there. And so I just kept doing it, and without realizing that it would take me on to other adventures like, books and TV shows. And, I'm very grateful for that. So after 10 years of Fuji and 5 years in, I was really juggling two careers at once.
2 full-time careers.
Yeah. So one was the, business, and then one was the creative outlet, the books, the TV, creating recipes for a bigger audience. And I didn't want to say no to those opportunities. But then in the end, something had to give. You know, after the 10th year, I was exhausted of Fuji. The business really ground me down. Contracts would come in, they would go out. And
I know, and retails, but you have to have such a thick skin to manage retail, because it'll come in and your flavor of the month and whoops, it's all gone. And it's before you can blink. I hated retail as a business. I really struggled. You have to have a very particular temperament for that.
Yeah, and also margin.
There was no margin. It's all about so minute that it's all about the bulk of how much you can sell.
Absolutely. And it was, you know what, it was soul destroying, because many times I'd go to these development meetings with my food and go, well, look, we should try and raise the level of ready to eat foods market. And they're going, Ching, you know, so we're constrained by budgets of £1.50, and they never left £1.50 in all the 10 years ever, so that they could sell it for £3.50. It was hell. Imagine, and then with rising food costs over the 10 years.
It just eats away at it.
And I just had enough. And after the 10th year, I said goodbye to Fuji. And at that point, my TV show, Chinese Food Made Easy, had come out on the BBC. And it had reached #1 in the best.
Whoa, amazing.
I was, you know, to this day, I'm so thankful to all of the people who've bought my books in the past.
Talk to me about this 9th book. Tell me about this book.
So this 9th book is called...
Which, by the way, I don't even have a copy, because I missed your book signing.
Yes.
Because I was in another country and I need a copy.
And there's a copy with your name on it.
Yes, it better be. Oh, that's so pretty. And so for those of us on radio, it is a beautiful yellow book, and it's called Walk On, with a picture of a wok under it. Cannot wait.
Yellow, one of my favorite colors. It's basically really also a reminder to myself to walk on, to keep walking on.
That just cracks me up. Tell me about, so when you make a book like this is your 9th book. Tell me about the difference in this book.
Okay, so my last book was called Stir Crazy.
Yes.
All about stir fries.
Yes.
So this is continuing on from that journey, and it's about looking at the versatility of the wok, which is this amazing tool that's been around for almost more than 2,000 years and sustained so many cultures in Asia. It's created so many beautiful dishes, you know, and I just love it. I love everything about the wok. I don't have any other pots and pans in my house.
Yeah.
I really have the wok. It's amazing that you can
I love woks.
Steam, braise, shallow fry. You can make popcorn in it. I mean, it's just so...
I've never done that. I'm going to try that.
You have a lid. So if you have a wok without a lid, just get anything tight-fitting.
No, I have your wok with the lid.
Hooray, hooray. The best, obviously.
Yeah, totally.
A little bit of oil, butter. Add the kernels in. Put the lid on, and then just watch it pop away. It's perfect.
When do you add salt to popcorn to make it taste like at the end, right? Not just before.
Light toss, salt and a little bit of sugar. And you can also add spices too. So a little bit of chili or a little bit of spice. You know.
I don't know if everybody else's mouth is watering, but mine totally is.
Over popcorn.
Oh, love it. That's not in the book. But, so what's your favorite dish in this one?
So this book it's got a lot of my dishes in. Oh, it's difficult to say favorite. Okay, so there's a dish.
Favorite veggie one, because I've long lived the fact that your husband is vegan, because that improves my life so much.
Okay, so 50 recipes. Half of the book is vegan, vegetarian.
Yes.
And the other half is vegan. Yes. Because my husband is vegan. And actually what's amazing about Asian and Chinese cooking is that the ingredients are completely interchangeable.
Yes, completely.
So this book could be completely vegan if you want it to. Now I've got this sweet corn mapo tofu, which is honestly one of my favorites. Traditionally in China, you would use minced meat, like minced pork, or pig's brain.
Yeah. Ooh, ew. But yeah.
The mainstream audience would be gross. But I've used sweet corn. So this.
Ooh, yum. That's an amazing image of what looks almost, it's like corn and tofu and coriander, like a curry almost.
Yes. So I'll make this for you.
Yes, please.
This is delicious with rice. It's so easy. It takes less than 10 minutes to make.
No, that's
Yes.
amazing. We should make it and then film it, Ching.
Yes.
We should do a couple of the rest. That'd be amazing. Not because you do it all the time, but at least I can watch and learn. That would be amazing.
That would be really fun. Happy to do that. There's also a delicious, so we use a lot of mock meats. Now people think, oh God, that's terrifying. What is that? And it's not so great if you are gluten intolerant, but it's traditionally used in Buddhist Chinese cuisine.
Yeah.
And basically it's wheat gluten that is then fried, and it gives you the texture of meat.
It's more chewy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little chewy, has texture. But of course, if you don't eat that, then mushrooms are the best meat substitutes if you're trying to get into more plant-based diets. There's also like a Thai greens sweet potato curry.
My favorite.
Which is really delicious.
Oh my God, utterly my favorite. Guys, so the thing about interviewing one of your friends who's a famous TV cook is that you end up bloody starving at the end of it.
And there's another, basically it's a tofu, soy tofu mushroom stuff. But this is really easy. So the older I get, the lazier I am with cooking.
But no, it's not just that, Ching. I think it's so important because when you've worked all day and you're really tired, you've done all this stuff, actually what matters is being able to cook a meal very fast that still tastes good and it's healthy.
Yes, and you hit the nail on the head. You see, you understand the whole, about balance and trying to be greedy with nutrition.
Yeah.
So, that's why in this book as well, I talk about the awesome foursome, which is, and it's not non-sexual. It's
funny you should say that. It never occurred to me till now, but yes.
So it's basically garlic, ginger, chilies, and spring onions, stir-fried. So before we talked about the Holy Trinity, it was always about garlic, ginger, chili in any one dish. Of course, their taste, but also antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, all these amazing, and so throw the spring onions in there too. So have the all four.
Why do you use spring onions instead of normal onions? I've never quite understood that.
Well, it's a lot more, it's got a nice oniony bite, but it also lends itself to a nice sweetness. And it's just traditionally much more mainstream. So we use it and I think it mainly comes from the fact that we use it a lot in dumplings because it's much smaller.
Oh my God, dumplings are my favorite in the entire world.
It's much finer than, like an onion in terms of its fibers. So, but, use onion too in a stir fry is fantastic. But we tend to favor spring onions.
No, I'm Indian. So of course, garlic, ginger, and a bit of chili in kind of everything, but it's actually garlic, ginger, onion, and a bit of chili in everything. So for us, it is absolutely the holy everything. There is no way.
Yes, and we got a lot of our ingredients along the Silk Road and was very much inspired by India.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the spices came from there, from cinnamon, cassia, turmeric, chili powders,
No, I think so. What is cassia?
Cassia bark. So like it's in the same family as cinnamon.
Okay. Oh, but the one that looks like a tree a bit.
It's a lot and harder, much more hardy.
And what does it taste like?
It's got notes of cinnamon. Very similar.
Amazing.
Yes. And then star anise we got from yourselves. And I mean, in terms of the 5 ingredients, spices, that's central to Chinese cooking. It's star anise, cinnamon, fennel. Of course, we got from
fennel. Yeah, completely.
And what else? Cinnamon and Sichuan pepper.
Yes, pepper. I thought pepper was Chinese.
Sichuan pepper is Chinese. It comes from Yunnan in China and Sichuan. But star anise we definitely got from you. Fennel we got from you.
Star anise you got from Indians?
Yes.
I've never even seen it in India. I wouldn't even think about that. But I mean, obviously southern, in the south it must be.
In the south regions, absolutely.
Yeah. So Ching, what next?
So I am
other than cooking for me, which is clearly really high on the priority list. But other than that, what next in your career?
What next? I'm trying to get my lotus wok here in this country, and I am looking at a range of healthy ingredients. So I'm looking at that.
Retail?
You know what? Yes, possibly going back into retail.
But not with a short product, more like a long life one.
More like ingredients based, and also possibly a restaurant. I don't know. You know, the thing is, I've had 10 years of Fuji and then 10 years of sort of being creative and media and only thinking about my little world. And now I feel like now I'm 40, I might go back and marry the two and try and bring something. But, you know, the high street is so difficult. It's going through such a hard time.
It really is.
You know, it's quite troubling. So, you know, people always say, oh, where can we try your food, Ching? And I always say, just cook. Just the recipes are there. If you want to eat my food.
I wonder if you could almost do like a HelloFresh version just for Chinese food.
You know, I'd love to do that, but then I'd feel conscious about packaging. I'd feel so conscious about the state we're in, you know. So I think another book, and probably something all completely plant-based, because I feel that it's got to align with the greater good now.
I'm nodding deeply here, like totally go for that, make it plant-based. Happiness, speaking as a vegan vegetarian, happiness is my idea of plant-based. Right, honestly, I don't tell you this often enough, but you're utterly amazing. You're such an inspiration. I love the fact that, and I didn't even know about the adversity from where you started, because it's something you never, ever, ever talk about. I just know you as being a very kind, generous, inspiring person. But it makes so much more sense when I see where you came from, because you've known that the kindness of others with your hard work has moved you. And that comes so much to the root of the kindness you show other people. And one of the things I've always found interesting is that when people become more successful, the majority of them are so much more generous and kind, because they know what it's taken them to get there, and you personify that. I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you're amazing.
Thank you, Geeta.
And thank you so much.
Hey, I'm so touched now.
Just cook for me and get over
okay, fine.
So everybody, this is Ching Huang. She has written this incredible book called Wok On, WOKON, Wok On. And please, please, please go out and buy a copy of it. Please try it. Please let me know what it tastes like. And I will have my copy next week. So I'm going to try it as well. Did you hear that, mate? I'll have my copy.
Yes, you'll have your copy next week. Together with the best tasting mapo tofu.
Exactly. I want mine signed. I'll buy it and have it waiting here so you can sign it. And that's just been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us, Ching, and letting everybody know about you.
Thank you so much for having me, Geeta. I think you're an amazing individual.
Oh, sweetie. Where do your books sell, my love? Where can people find them?
Books sell on Amazon and all good bookshops. So buy them, you know, if there is still a bookshop on the high street.
Waterstones we have around the corner.
There will be. Support them, and you know, they're very, very important. So yes. Otherwise, online, if you're not sure about Chinese cooking and you want to just give it a go, I have lots of recipes online, lots of videos, and they're free. So just sign up and give it a try.
And so what's your channel called on YouTube?
So it's just my name. So it's at Ching Huang, ChingHehuang. It's a long one, but all on my website. So it's just www.chinghehuang.com.
Perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure. And we will do the whole cooking thing at one stage. So this was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for joining me on Living Raw Radio. I hope you enjoyed the show, and our goal is, as always, to amaze and inspire ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I hope you've really, really loved today's show. I've absolutely enjoyed having Ching on, as you can tell, and I will join you again soon.